I am Jeff Mote. Alternatively, K24 TV is a handle you can get me on. We're talking purge politics and democracy and where the ruling party stands, because it seems like every single session we have the whipping taking place. Chances are this is happening within the confines of Jubilee Party. Let me get Millie in back on this particular topic. Millie, from what we are seeing right now, indications are that next stop we go to National Assembly for what they're calling quote-unquote misbehaving MPs. By the time they are done with this particular purge, they're having more enemies than friends at this particular point. We're going now into a session where you really need a lot of consensus building for bills in the floor of the House. How does this play out even for Jubilee's agenda politically to make things move in the Senate or the National Assembly?
I think that what Jubilee has been doing in the recent past is to form alliances with all the other parties that did not merge to the then Jubilee Party. Therefore, they still will have some reasonable numbers. I think the discussion in the president had with a number of legislators was looking at the number that were within vis-a-vis the number that is not there. I think in anticipation of the discussion as to whether there'll be numbers to move those agendas forward. And I dare say that, of course, in each camp, you'll always find some few people who are minded, who may not move to the general direction of the function in which they stand.
Okay, there seems to be a bit of a technical hit in terms of the audio. Again, you'll be sorting that out, Millie. Apologies for that. My team will work on that. I'll come to the studio as well. Madam Elachi, Parliament just resumed yesterday. Lots of work on the floor of the House that needs to happen. With this particular posture that the ruling party has taken, as Millie had alluded before we had that hitch, is it the fact that they'll now have to depend on other parties?
Well,
they've signed coalition pacts with to move things forward?
As Millie was saying, I think one of the things we must appreciate is that I think after 2017 and 2018-19, the president has been putting in other coalitions and has been trying to bring in other coalitions to work together. And I think they are working together. Therefore, they will still have a way of pushing the agenda that they want. But then let's go back to where we started, our history. We come in a history where we start with prayers and we say, never again shall we see people dying, never again any young person will die, which is happening anyway. Then we move on, and I remember we had rebels, Alfred Keter, at one point Sudi, at one point, and therefore it is not something that has started today. So I would also want to really request that when also disciplinary is happening to these other members, just because they are supporting the deputy president, you should not feel bad. Because even Alfred, we remember we removed him on committees at that time when he was telling us the truth. Yeah, so you remember what you did to Alfred Keter? Comes to hit others.
Right.
So it is not something we are doing because you hate so and so. No, it is something that has been there within the party. And we have to appreciate that. But then now, it's going to have a lot of pull and push in Parliament, definitely. So I know that environment to work together is going to have a challenge because of all this. But the most important thing is that let us also appreciate. If I'm nominated, then the party will always have the upper hand on me. Mm-hmm. Because it's the same way when you are elected by Wananchi, you know. If Wananchi don't want you, when you go on the ground, you find it very difficult doing anything. They boo you, they do everything, because they are now fed up with you and you're not doing the right thing. Right. So it's the same way. So you cannot run away and say the party cannot bring in and request you to just follow the laws that you signed in. And when you were being nominated by that party, you knew those are their regulations. So I would tell them, you follow.
Okay.
I mean, it's follow. And anyway, if you are smart enough, why are you running to court? Yeah, you are a boss. What is the use of running to court? So you are the boss. You have decided, I have no business to deal with my party leader. I can do it alone. Why are you running to court? So you do it alone. So they can do it alone now.
I think we've established contact again with Millie.
Because I find it very interesting, because if I am me and I've decided, I will decide, yeah,
you vote and chart your own path.
be it. I have moved on. But
Jeff,
now when it comes now to the heat, now you start becoming again a victim. Oh, you are to abuse the president, and he's your party leader, and he agreed you are supposed to be nominated. And then now, when he comes and says, look, the regulations of our party are this, you feel now the president is bad to me. Is becoming, the party is so bad to me. Bad to you?
Jeff,
Quickly
let me
Oliver
just
on
for
that.
a minute
Very
correct
quickly
an
on that.
assertion that has been left by the speaker.
Please.
One, when you read section 14.5 of the Political Parties Act, that is what when you are expelling a member, you must satisfy that one, he has joined another political party.
Exactly.
Two, he has promoted the formation of a new political party. But wait here, there is nowhere.
There is a new political party.
No,
that
He has
they have been
answered.
affiliated
He
to.
has
Let me take you
finished for
down.
me.
Okay,
He
okay.
has finished for
UDA
me.
is not a new political
Oliver.
party.
Oh.
UDA renamed from PDR. When you read,
So it's still supposed to be under the Jubilee
yes,
coalition.
they still have a coalition. The thing is this: if today you go and get a deed poll, you change your name from Jeff Mote Kamau. Do we run away from the contract we signed with Jeff Mote? No. In law, you are still Jeff Mote. Even when county governments changed under the new constitution to county governments from municipalities and county councils, the county governments took up all those things. PDR had a pre-election coalition agreement with Jubilee. It is known as the Jubilee Coalition. When you read Article 1 of that pre-election coalition agreement. Secondly, any known political party in the world where politicians are in that political party, there will always be a difference in opinion. Murathe has been on record, and some people in that disciplinary committee saying we'll expel Mwaura. As a judge, you cannot come and say, tomorrow I will do this to Jeff Mote, who will come before me. And when you do it, you expect us to say that there was justice there. There is none. Secondly, all these people, they purportedly expelled senators from Jubilee, are Kenyans. They have their Article 49 rights. They have a right to appeal. Even the letter from Tuju said you can appeal. Secondly, and the other thing that we need to encourage in our political parties, political parties are not monarchs, where when somebody says we are going left, we all of us turn. Political parties are supposed to be places where people have ideas. They are supposed to be hatcheries of ideas. New ideas cannot be hatched, Jeff, in a place where you are being told to keep quiet. Two, and lastly, BBI has never been a Jubilee program. It is Uhuru Kenyatta's program, but I have not seen anywhere.
Isn't he the party leader?
No, listen. For something to be, there is something that we have over-litigated at the Political Parties Tribunal, Disputes Tribunal. What is a party position? A party position is a position that has been brought up by the party rank and file. You cannot wake up tomorrow as a party leader and say, from today, all people will be eating meat. It is a party position. No, party position comes from party organs. Anyway. Which party organ in Jubilee met and ratified that BBI is a Jubilee agenda?
Anyway,
okay.
Jeff.
I want to get to Millie first, as I could
before you go
a
to
bit. I
Millie,
need
before you go to
2 seconds, please,
before you
ma'am.
go to Millie, I would want to really ask Oliver, and this is very serious, that this is a government that works for Kenya. In themselves, if you can do a shortcut, which is a corruption thing anyway to me, which has really surprised me, if you can come in and change a name of a party and change it and say you have a coalition with Jubilee because you have changed the name. So when did this party sit down and we saw, he's asking the same question, so I'll ask, when did the other party sit down and say, as a resolution, we are now changing our name to this, and therefore we take our particulars to Tuju, and they should go back to the political party registrar and say, we have changed our name to this to read this. Where was it done with Jubilee? because we have a coalition. Where did these two organs sit? Jubilee organ and the organ of the party that we are coalited to say, now we've agreed, our friends are changing their name to this, so that you don't bring in this conflict. If you can do this now, what about if you take power?
Should this be happening at Jubilee or at the office?
It scares Kenya now. It scares Kenya now.
Something.
And the other thing I'll ask, so that Olive can now answer all of them. I would want to know
two questions, please, and then I get to Millie.
When they sat and when Jubilee sat to agree, yes, we've agreed we need to change the name. They have changed the name, and so they brought in the particulars to Jubilee and say, we have changed the name, and this is how we are moving on. Can you kindly, because Jubilee is the coalition of this, so kindly take it to the registrar and say we've agreed, we've changed our name to this. That is one. How many members are in this party? So that these other members who now have decided to be part, because we are in the same coalition, part of these other members. I think those are the questions you have to answer, so that Jubilee will understand, oh, so this is a party we can all work with, and this is how the things were done, to ensure we also follow the law.
Okay, before I get to Oliver, I want to get to Millie on this one quickly, because that was an issue that was also raised yesterday after the de-whipping of Senator Kangata. And he was asked about this UDA party being part of the coalition of Jubilee, and he referred journalists to the office of the Registrar of Political Parties. Surely the SG should know whether it is or is not part of the coalition. It's a simple yes or no answer.
Should be having the particulars of that party.
Isn't it, Millie?
I have them, I can give him.
No, you give Tuju. He seems he doesn't have.
Millie, if you can hear me, go right ahead.
Yes, I can hear you. I think that the process of coalitions is something that is still live, I think, before the High Court or the Court of Appeal, if I'm not wrong, because the registrar has maintained that the role of the registrar of political parties is merely to keep the documents that show the agreements that the different coalition partners have had and store them for purposes of record. But as to the extent to which the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties would be involved in the process of the coalitions being formed is a question that I think is still live. If I'm not wrong, I stand to be corrected. But coming back to what Senator Kangata did say yesterday, I think that we cannot forget that at the end of the day, we are dealing with politicians, and they are very, very good with words. So it's of course obvious to many people that such key processes within a party is something that they must know. And if they don't know, then it would be odd, and there would then be a logical explanation as to why they do not know. But for me, I think it is largely politics at play.
Oliver, there were two questions raised by Madam Elachi concerning whether there was ever a conversation between the party organs of UDA and the coalition party itself that we are now here, it's the same party with a new skin. Did that ever happen?
First of all, Jeff, when political parties come together for pre-election or to form a pact, either post or pre-election, they come together on an understanding, and it is documented that we will cooperate on A, B, C, D in terms of parliament pursuing the same agenda, in terms of we will front one presidential candidate and A, B, C, D. And when you read the Jubilee coalition agreement between Jubilee and PDR then, you realize that it was a coalition for political cooperation. The running of the party, individual parties, remains their own running. We did not see when Jubilee was kicking out Murkomen and Kika, did they write to their affiliate parties that we are kicking out our officials? No, those are internal things. Secondly, there is a procedure and a process to be followed as you change, as you rebrand a political party. It is there in the law. It is provided for under the Political Parties Act. You can't wake up one morning and go and change a political party the same way you paint your house at home. A political party, and now that we are in the era where political parties are funded by the Political Parties Fund, you can't. These are public entities, and therefore UDA or PDR then has no obligation to anybody to tell them that we have done anything. the only obligation they have to Jubilee is to cooperate politically, which I think to now they are still doing so at the county assembly level and even at the Senate, where one of the UDA or PDR members is the deputy majority leader. So we might feel the sour grapes because UDA has become bigger than Jubilee. It happens in life. The teacher and the student become bigger than the teacher. It is life. So what Jubilee should get accustomed to is that we are in an era whereby if we do not agree, we agree to disagree. And therefore, if Jubilee wants to dissociate with PDR, let them do so. Let them activate the exit clauses in that agreement. It has exit clauses. It is not also a dictatorship, a documentary dictatorship. No. It has a way out, and Tuju can activate that if he's not comfortable. But for him to come and play ping pong with journalists, I saw yesterday he was trying to be cagey about the whole thing. Right. But the reality is, a rebranding of a political party doesn't change or doesn't help it waive its obligation. And it is so because if today we were to allow political parties to rebrand and run away from their political obligation without activating the exit clauses in the agreement, we will have turmoil, political turmoil in the country. We will disagree with this party, come and rebrand and run away from our obligation to it. I disagree with Party Elachi, I come and rebrand. Even companies, when they rebrand, they don't run away from their tax liabilities. The liabilities follow them. So the same as their obligations.
But you see,
what
Oliver is not telling us. So they rebranded and changed even their symbol. So,
but that is what rebranding takes.
No. You have members who have been, let us not go that route, because it will happen again. You know, it will happen.
What do you mean when you say it might happen again? Which president will this set?
It can be, the deputy can be anyone. It can happen. So they should not think it's something very, it's very wrong, because when you say that, it means changing the name, fine, but you change even your own slogan or your own
party
symbol. And you're telling us we have PDR members in parliament. They were put on a gazette notice with a different symbol. So if somebody goes to court and say, fine, so these members of PDR are no longer even members, because even which symbol took them to parliament? Yeah, you know. So it's not something very easy. In law, somebody can, and law is very easy to just twist. In law, anyone can use that and come and now start bringing, again, issues that were never issues. If you're changing the name, you can change the name, but then you'd have left your symbol, because that symbol is the symbol that was put on a ballot paper. That's a symbol that went through into a political process, and elections were done, and people have been elected on. So let us not just take it. It's like telling me, those who are not for Jubilee, we can now just do funny things and then we say we are okay. No. I think we have to respect the Political Parties Act also. Let us respect the election laws. They're there. And I am not disputing. The only question I asked, which I know Olive has refused to tell me.
Ask it again and he'll answer.
He has said they have no business telling internal. But you have a coalition with the party. You have a coalition with this party. I think it is just fair and good to say we are going to change reasons of this name to this name. You don't need to give them the reasons. Oliver? But there is that agreement of saying, yeah, we are changing this name to this name, and therefore, when you see the name, we will not be in this conflict if indeed they sat down and agreed we have changed PDR to this name. We should not be then suspending senators if indeed they sat down in an agreement to say PDR is still a coalition member, UDA is still a coalition member of Jubilee through PDR, because they will not be doing this today.
Oliver?
Jeff, there is something. Jubilee and Senator Elachi, they cannot ask a higher thing than that which they can provide. One, there was a time there was a party known as ODM Kenya in this country. It was in a coalition known as, what was the name before Wiper? COD. It changed itself, it became Wiper. Did they communicate with the other members?
Yes.
We have not seen that.
No.
Secondly,
I will tell
Recently, we
you.
have seen Jubilee entering into agreements with other political parties. Did they communicate with other stakeholders that, you know what, we have a cooperation agreement, we are signing a cooperation
So
agreement?
there wasn't any
There was no
communication done?
communication. Secondly, I'm coming there. If Jubilee cannot have a meeting of its own party organs, they cannot go asking people that consult us when they cannot consult others. And then two, some of these things are conveniences, Jeff. The law has already stated, and there was somebody who had an objection of PDR becoming UDA. The objection was dealt with, and the political parties registrar, the ORPP, allowed this to go on. If anybody had an objection, including what the good senator is talking about, those the elected leaders, they will have raised it with the ORPP, the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. But to turn around and to make it look like Jubilee has the monopoly of political games it can play on people, Jeff, there is no monopoly of brilliance in this town. Everybody is bright. And that is why, that's what I'm telling you, when it comes, what the senator is saying, let us reduce this discussion to this table, is that good political mannerism expect that when you are going to engage other partners, you write to me. That is now good political mannerism.
Yes. Well,
but what the law
it's
says,
not mannerism.
what the law
It's the
says
law.
is what we should stick to.
So the law
And
says
that is why UDA has changed their name. But what Elachi wants to bring is political etiquette, which might not exist in this game.
Millie, I want to have you in on this one as well, because as you can see, not the most hygienic of affairs in the Jubilee Party right now.
tell
We,
you.
we know what should be done,
that's
but
why we have
clearly
finished our country.
everyone
Oh my
playing
God.
games with this, within this particular party. Again, and I like to ask this question to everyone who comes here. Is there a way at this point in time that the leadership of the ruling party can salvage this party and bring it back to even half of what it was when it was promising Kenyans all of these good things? Is there a way it can actually mend this huge crack that has taken place up until this particular point? Or is that a foregone case, water under the bridge, people move on with their new alliances?
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, I think that we have largely seen that the president has been involved in an agenda of trying to bring Kenyans together, particularly post his second term election. The Kenyans who he felt did not vote for Jubilee, he has gone out to try and bring them and to get them, to entice them into accepting his leadership, which is a good thing because he's trying to leave behind a united nation. I therefore think that in order to answer that question, the ball lies squarely in the court of the deputy president, because it seems to be that it is the deputy president who is hell-bent on keeping Jubilee locked to a certain group of persons that were there, I think, when Jubilee came together in 2013. When they had the pact in Nakuru that led to the rise of Jubilee. So largely, I think that if we are to see Jubilee become what it sold itself to be, a party that brings all of Kenya together, a party that is meant for everybody and every Kenyan, then the ball lies squarely in the court of the deputy president.
Okay, very quickly, we have 2 minutes to go before I end this up. Oliver, I'll come to you. 30 seconds on this. Millie has said right now it's the onus is on the deputy president to make state of affairs a bit more amicable, to have a possible solution moving forward. Your reaction to that as we close quickly?
I think, Jeff, as we move towards the future, we must reflect and ask ourselves, which kind of a country are we going to give it to our posterity or to our kids? Which country will we hand over to them? Because what is happening currently in our political setup, and I'm glad that we have the independent candidate ticket in the Constitution. It will save us a lot of cost. And going into the future, after the epic fail of Jubilee as a national party, I am not so sure whether people will want to dissolve their parties to join a national party, because one, the people who dissolved their parties feel like it was a scam. And indeed it was, because what they promised out and it is like what we are told, vitu kwa ground is different. What is promised and what is delivered are two different things. You are promised a SUV and they deliver you a Vitz. That is what Jubilee has done to us. And moving forward, political etiquette, political mannerism should only be that which the law has stated as so. Any other thing is a gentleman agreement, which we might not be able to discuss here and take it to court, that so and so should have told us when, because if we go that direction, we might even say tomorrow when political parties are wearing one color, that why did ODM not tell us that they'll be putting on red ties? They did not consult Wiper.
Okay.
No, political parties are there for ideology.
Madam Beatrice,
They
you're
are not a
parting short
cosmetic
as we
Well,
transition.
I think for me is that I would leave Olive the way they think right now. If that is okay, the best for them. Let's move forward and see how it will work around them at one point.
Okay.
And that is why it's always good to just follow the law. It's always good to respect the law and just do what the law is saying. It will help you to move forward properly. The things we did to Akina Alfred Keter is what is eating us today. And so you can't come now and question when the party is disciplining members just because they are supporting one side and not this other side. Let us believe this is a party you believed in. When you're being nominated, you knew you're being nominated by Jubilee. If you feel it is enough for you, in fact, you are nominated, you can decide to move out and go support the party that you believe. This is what I believe in. This is the ideology I want. Enough is enough with it. But if you can't, then you will have to follow the rules and regulations of Jubilee Party.
Okay, that's where we leave it as far as it's concerned. Thank you so much for your time this morning and a spirited debate on this as well. Oliver Karori, thank you so much for your time this morning. Madam Beatrice Salachi, asante sana for making time to be on the show. As always, Millie Lwanga, thank you so much for being on the show. Asanteni sana for your contributions on it as well. And of course, for taking part, I can see the tweets coming in on Twitter at I am Jeff Mote. I'll be responding to some of those in a bit. You take a short break. We are back on the other side as we get interactive. This is KTT for this morning. Don't go too far.